Inspect the hurdle that lies before you. Are you entrenched in the planning stage, seeking a mental route to solution, or are you executing steps to conquer it? At times, a greater push is needed, and at others, a recalibration of your plan is what will prevail. Claiming there's no time for exercise suggests a disregard for the well-being of the only body you have to experience life. By not making time for exercise, you're turning a blind eye to the care of your sole vehicle in life. You're undervaluing the enrichment and longevity of the only vessel you have for life's journey, the sole medium through which you perceive everything. So tell me, what is occupying your time that's more vital than enhancing and extending your own existence? What takes precedence over enriching and extending the life of your personal vessel? What are you prioritizing over the health and extension of your own life? Well, all seems crucial in life until illness strikes, revealing that health was the paramount concern all along. Every pursuit seems critical until illness and sickness reveals the ultimate truth. Despite this, we frequently trade our health for stress and sleep deprivation, but a pursuit that, in hindsight, holds little significance, chasing what doesn't truly matter. Embrace simplicity. If it takes only 3 steps, adding a 4th only invites complexity. Each step is a point of vulnerability. The fewer there are, the less we risk. Embrace simplicity. If it takes only 3 steps, adding a 4th only invites complexity. Each step is a point of vulnerability. The fewer there are, the less we risk. Allowing a mistake to go unchallenged is to deny yourself a lesson. You deprive yourself of wisdom and valuable insights. Dwelling on it, on the other hand, it steals your peace. Acknowledge it, refine it, and then leave it behind. Take note, make the fix, and move on with your life. Your relationships will likely reflect the level of esteem you hold for yourself. Rarely will your connections with others exceed the quality of your own self-regard. As goes your self-esteem, as often goes your relationships. In plenty of instances, the thing you wish to acquire isn't for sale. The most cherished homes are usually not advertised. The most valued employees are not actively looking for new roles. People hold on to life's luxuries. They're rarely just handed over. To gain them, you need the boldness to step up and the art of the deal to win them over. The currency of your reputation is the richest asset you have. Your good name is your greatest treasure. It arrives before your presence and remains to tell the tale once the work is concluded. It introduces you before you even step through the door and stays behind well after your job is finished. To cherish it, maintain it, uphold it. The essentials remain constant. Honesty and truth still reign supreme. Maximizing our resources is still wise. Finding joy in the simple things is still satisfying. And facing adversity with bravery is still necessary. You're often judged by your current position. People tend to measure you by your current circumstances, not by the greatest you could attain. Never let a negative comment impede your journey. Stow it away or let it propel you forward. An outsider's judgment of your present situation is not an indicator of your future potential. Your focus should be on your self-improvement, not on someone's short-sighted take on your abilities today. For another's viewpoint on where you stand now reveals nothing of what you're capable of achieving in the future. The larger the victory, the likelier it is to have been shaped by more significant decisions. Increased levels of uncertainty and elevated risks. Playing in the big leagues means conditioning yourself to withstand wider arcs of triumphs and setbacks across the mental, emotional, and financial spectrums. Avoid these arcs, and you may have to content yourself with smaller arenas. Prior to finding your passion, in the phase of discovery, brace more trials and maintain fewer ties. Once your passion is found, Consolidate your trials into devoted pursuits. Let dedication prevail and exploration take the back seat. It's tough to counterbalance initial poor decisions with wise ones made later. Producing a best-selling novel is unlikely if the foundational topic wasn't well received. Creating a joyful marriage is difficult if the initial choice of partner was someone inherently unhappy. Making a profitable property investment is problematic if the initial price paid was excessive. Although improvements can be made with good decisions later, the early poor choices tend to have a lingering presence. So choose wisely at the start, if you can. My decision making often hinges on this question: what level of control will I have over the results following my initial decision? If my influence is substantial, I welcome the risk. A seemingly precarious choice can turn favourable with dedication. If my influence is minimal, I tread carefully. All the effort in the world may not sway the results. It's vital to weigh your post-decision impact. On the threshold of final rest, it's not our actions that haunt us, but our inactions. I can attest, having my fair share of foolish deeds, yet they stir no regret. All the blunders, silly acts and red-faced moments are trivial. What consoles me is the recollection of seizing every splendid opportunity that came my way. Suppose at life's finale, you could turn back time for just one day. Which day would you choose to relive? Which season of your life beckons you back? Contemplate what this choice indicates about your current priorities. This choice might shed a light on how you might want to be investing your time right now. Embark with positivity. Proceed with critical analysis and finish with a positive stride. An optimistic stance at the start keeps paralysis by analysis at bay. True, belief alone isn't a victor's ticket, but without it, you're out of the race. When deep in the trenches, let pessimism play the devil's advocate. Scrutinize and refine, transforming doubts into defensive strategy. In the home stretch, revert to optimism. For action requires a valor to persist even when the path is strewn with hurdles. Keep trying, and the scale of probability tips increasingly in your direction. The frequency of your attempts directly enhances your odds of success. Persist in your efforts and watch the odds turn in your favor. Pursue the enjoyable aspects when doing difficult things. A common pitfall is to dwell on how hard an activity is. Yet, those that are proficient in these challenging fields usually focus on the enjoyment it brings. Whether it's the physical sensation of movement or the intellectual stimulation of writing, they don't fixate on the task's toughness. Rather, their primary thought is about the enjoyment they find within, working diligently, but with an eye on the enjoyable aspects. Commanding your focus is possibly the essential skill of all, which means more than just resisting distractions. It's about seeking out the most impactful ways to allocate your time based on what's significant to you. Ultimately, it's the capacity to identify where your efforts should lie and what actions are truly transformative. This moment isn't for dwelling on the missing pieces. It's for utilizing what's at your disposal. Don't let thoughts of scarcity cloud your mind. Focus on the potential of your available resources. Thinking of what's missing is a luxury you can't afford. Look instead at what you hold and what you can achieve with it. Now is the moment to shift from what's absent to what's possible with the resources in hand. Start with the bravery to begin. Add the wisdom to pursue with your strengths. Mix in persistence to remain. Await a sprinkle of good fortune and labor intensely. That is the concoction that leads to success. There's an abundance of chatter about others' physiques, romances and enterprises. Rather, tend to your own affairs. Cultivate your physique, your bonds and your endeavors. Self-improvement is an endless journey. Habitual tasks are often seen as just another part of the grind. The coffee pot, the commute, the meals. Yet these everyday acts are the essence of life. There's a quiet grace in the execution, a chance for reflection and contentment. By focusing on these moments with gratitude rather than rushing through them, we find a wellspring of joy in our routines and thus in our lives. Is it about the initiation or the completion for you at this moment? The first step often sets everything into motion. The first workout that commits you to the fitness, the first words that begin your story, the first outreach that opens the dialogue. Conversely, it's the final piece that concludes the endeavor, the final brick that completes the structure, the final line of code that brings the technology to life, the final touch that readies your work for the world. Are you at the threshold of beginning or at the cusp of completion? Seek a goal for a moment of glory. Build a system for a legacy of victories. Goals are the hallmark of occasional champions. Systems are the signature of serial winners. If you're focused on a single win, chase a goal. If you want a winning streak, follow a system. Confidence can manifest as the presumption of having all the answers or as the readiness to find them. The former is steeped with hubris, the latter in wisdom. Embrace the humility of your knowledge and the confidence in your capacity to learn. Interest and curiosity are far stronger drivers than the force of discipline. People recognized for their strong work ethic are usually deeply interested in their work. In the end, the person who works with a smile, not the one who bears it as a burden, who tends to persist. The act of writing can confer a form of immortality. To write is to weave a part of yourself into the fabric of history. Works penned centuries past still resonate with readers today, allowing authors to extend their presence far beyond the span of their mortal lives, granting them an audience for centuries and influencing countless generations. Glorious. It is the doers, not the thinkers, who reap life's bounties. For all the wisdom in the world is impotent without the valor to act. Action is the currency of progress in life, not the mere intellect. Intelligence is unproductive without the boldness to execute. The sharpest minds can still falter without the guts to begin. You cannot claim victory without entering the fray. You must be in the competition to stand a chance. Dive into what you're most eager to do. Cultivate a minor yet amusing habit and adhere to it consistently. It's not just pleasurable, but also a preview of the person you're capable of becoming, using that first accomplishment to gain speed for the next. The entirety of your ambitions may be too vast to grasp, but initiating a single step followed by another is within reach. Decisive action, even if mistaken, trumps doing nothing. Begin with a manageable list of your immediate and distant goals. Rank them from high to low priority. Ensure that, at a minimum, your high priority tasks are met. Remember, priorities can evolve, and your list is adaptable. Yet, translating them from thought to paper provides a clear vision that can invigorate your journey. The wheel of life inevitably turns, often leaving a trace of longing for the past. The regular drives to work or the vibrant family reunions, such moments are treasures with accounts we cannot see. Every action brings us closer to the last occurrence. Remember, these moments have a count, and with each one, we inch closer to the last. Every act might stealthily serve as a unintended goodbye, and we seldom know that the last act plays out. This day could be the final time for many familiar experiences. Ignorance of life's temporary state is folly. The only certainty is now. The pinnacle of appreciating life is to live with the consciousness that each sight, each visit might be our final one. And in this recognition, we find ourselves living with more deliberate, profound presence. Thus, the key to cherishing life is to embrace its fleeting nature. Allowing this knowledge is to slow us down and steep us deeply in the act of living. Look back at an instance of defeat or intense struggle in your life. If you were to cast that event in a more favourable light, what story would unfold? What did you learn from that ordeal? And how did it arm you for future battles? Shape your failures into masterclasses for success. Craft your failures into foundations for future wisdom. Let your defeats be your tutors. Change your mishaps into opportunities for growth. You're often judged by your current position. People tend to measure you by your current circumstances, not by the greatest you could attain. Never let a negative comment impede your journey. Stow it away or let it propel you forward. An outsider's judgment of your present situation is not an indicator of your future potential. Your focus should be on your self-improvement, not on someone's short-sighted take on your abilities today. For another's viewpoint on where you stand now reveals nothing of what you're capable of achieving in the future. You're often judged by your current position. People tend to measure you by your current circumstances, not by the greatest you could attain. Never let a negative comment impede your journey. Stow it away or let it propel you forward. An outsider's judgment of your present situation is not an indicator of your future potential. Your focus should be on your self-improvement, not on someone's short-sighted take on your abilities today. For another's viewpoint on where you stand now reveals nothing of what you're capable of achieving in the future. In the grand scale of life, balance being careful with being bold, weaving caution with audacity, prudence with bravery, vigilance with valor. Be sensible enough to dodge avoidable errors. Conserve your energy and keep a buffer of safety. Yet, be daring enough to count on your strengths. Accomplish tasks that would fill you with regret if neglected, and welcome the short-lived unease that paves the path for lifelong enrichment. In the grand scale of life, balance being careful with being bold, weaving caution with audacity, prudence with bravery, vigilance with valor. Be sensible enough to dodge avoidable errors. Conserve your energy and keep a buffer of safety. Yet, be daring enough to count on your strengths. Accomplish tasks that would fill you with regret if neglected, and welcome the short-lived unease that paves the path for lifelong enrichment. Many await the comfort of a trodden path before embarking on their own ventures. A lot of people need proof of success in others' stories before beginning their own chapter. Over-reliance on others' paths stifles innovation. If you always seek a template, you'll forfeit the chance to create anything of distinction. Life is a unique odyssey, and while others' maps offer wisdom, draw inspiration from them. But waiting for the ideal pathfinder means inaction. You are the trailblazer. Momentum falters when your focus is scattered. Concentration is the fuel for momentum. Don't dilute it with distraction. Split attention is the enemy of building momentum. The power to propel forward weakens with divided attention. When attention splinters, momentum suffers. Focus.